pod date, he was wanting to go deeper, and she was like, this is as deep as it gets, baby. Like, what do you want from me?
Back up on my bullshit, back up on the scene. Done dealing with you, don't know how to deal with me. Done fucking with you, don't know how to love me.
Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. Welcome if you are new. Hey girl, hey. So today we are going to be reviewing Love is Blind season 3. They dropped a new season, 4 episodes. I'm going to try to bust all 4 episodes out today before I go to work. So today though, in this video, we're going to do Love is Blind season 3 episode 1. Let's get into it. Okay, so throughout this episode, we got to kind of like meet some of the people. I feel like we didn't get to meet everybody, and I feel like we never do with Love is Blind. It'd be people that we literally have never even seen before, but they was like on the show. They were having pod dates and all of that stuff, but they just never showed us. But the pods are open, so we see a few connections, and I feel like with Love is Blind, they focus on the people who actually made it to the altar, and so we see more of those connections forming than anybody else, which I can understand, because it's like, why would we want to see other people dating in the pods if like they never even ended up being together? Because that's what the show is ultimately about, right? So I get it. Like, we don't get to see everybody. They focus more so on the people who actually make it to engagement, and then so on and so forth. So we get Nancy and Bartise clicking, and then we also get Raven and Bartise clicking. And throughout this episode, we saw, like, I feel like Raven and Nancy were having a little bit of like a competition, and I always hate to see that, because I feel like, why? Like, it's no need for that. Like, y'all are gonna be in the pods dating some of the same people, like, you know what I'm saying? So just like, keep it cute. Moving on to Colleen. She's a ballet dancer, as she told us 1,000 zillion trillion times. Any chance she got, she was going to let us know that she was a ballet dancer, okay? She is proud to be a ballet dancer. And I was feeling like it was coming off like she was doing that for a purpose, right? Like, while watching her say that over and over and over again to every guy that she was in the pods with, I was like, this feels like a tactic or something. Like, this feels intentional. Like, she's leading with that for a reason. But why? Like, I literally was watching it like, why? The first time, whatever. The second time, okay. The third time, girl. Like, you know, so as she continued to do it, it was like, okay, this is coming off like she is doing this intentionally. And I just was like, why is that? And we find out, I'm jumping ahead for a second because I always jump ahead, but I'll circle back. But we find out later on in the episode that the reason why she is leading with that is because in her experience, she has seen that like men respond well to that. Men like that. And because she knows that they can't see her, I feel like she's saying and leading with her being a ballet dancer, because typically ballet dancers are physically fit. So I feel like she was trying to give the guys a hint, like, I got a nice body, I'm in shape, like, you know. So to me, I felt like that was kind of corny and superficial, because you're not here like that. It's the opposite of why you are on the show, to get to know people for who they are and for them to get to know you for who you are. And I get it, you being a ballet dancer is a part of who you are, but the way she was just going on it like every single time and leading with that, it just came off, like I said, like it was intentional and she was doing it for a purpose, and we find out why. We get a lot of Cole in this episode, and Cole is taking me through different emotions, because initially he comes off superficial, shallow, like a jerk, obnoxious, loud, all of that stuff. And then throughout the episode, as he goes on different pod dates, he kind of shows different aspects of his personality, and we see that he can be a little bit deep, he can be serious, but overall Cole is slightly annoying because he plays too much. But we see him connecting a lot. We also meet Alexa, and we see her and Brennan click in this episode. But when she said, I could stand to lose weight, but I don't want to, it reminds me of that Nene sound that's like on TikTok. where she is like, I could lose weight, but I don't feel like it because I'm hungry or something like that. Like, I can't remember verbatim the sound, but like that's what that reminded me of. And I just felt like, yes, let's normalize that. Not everybody wants to be on a lose weight type of a situation where they are not eating certain things. Some people really enjoy just being a foodie and eating foods, and they don't care about anything else but the enjoyment that comes from eating the types of foods that they like. And to each their own. So then everybody goes back to the quarters. Okay, the men go to the quarters, the girls go to the quarters, and then they talk about like their pod dates and stuff like that. And that was pretty much that for that day. And then it's the next day, and we get like the montage of everybody who works out, working out. And I just was like, listen, I used to be one of those people where I did not really enjoy working out, but I was not really comfortable in my body as it was. I had gained a lot of weight, and I was just like, I don't want to work out, but I feel like I have to work out because something has to change. Right now, cut to, I really enjoy going to the gym. It's a part of my daily routine, and I enjoy it. Dare I say it? I used to feel like people lying when they say that, but I feel like as it becomes a part of your day, and then I always just feel so great once I leave the gym. Like, I cannot not go to the gym as a part of my daily routine. It's just, I love it. But when I seen them working out, it just was like, look at me liking the gym now. Like, what? But this ain't about me. Okay, let's get back to these people business. So then it's pod time. Okay, it's pod time, and Raven and Bartice have a pod date. And the way that she was like building up this service industry thing or whatever she said, I thought she was about to say she was an escort. I was sure she was about to say she was an escort or a stripper or something. And then she said that she was a bottle girl and a bartender. And at first I was like, girl. But then I'm like, I can understand that. Like, some women, when you bartend or when you a bottle girl, you give the persona of like you being available because you get better tips or whatever the case may be. Like, a lot of men probably want to flirt with you, and so in order for you to like get your tips, you probably have to, you know, lean in on that or play along to like get the best tips. So I was like, okay, I could kind of understand why she is probably like telling him this just so he know moving forward or whatever the case may be. I didn't like, though, throughout like Bartice and Raven's pod dates that they were talking so much about like just the physical, because again, I get it, working out, if that's a part of your life, and for her, she is a Pilates instructor, so I get it. She really enjoys it, as we see, like she is really into Pilates and all of that stuff. But I feel like when people do that, you are kind of sort of like giving up a cue in terms of like your physicality and what you could potentially look like. So I was like, I wasn't really feeling that. But we also get in this episode, Bartice and Nancy having a pod date. And in this pod date, Nancy tells Bartice that she was an egg donor. And again, like he said, like, I think that's really nice and generous of you to do, to help people out in that way. I don't see why. I know she said that past relationships or guys or whatever had an issue with that, but I feel like that is a very selfless thing to do. Like, I don't understand what the issue would be. But then Bartice tells her that he is 25, and she is freaking out a little bit. And I'm with her. Like, I honestly feel like I cannot see myself being attracted to somebody that's 25. Like, please. Even though when I was 25, I was a very grown 25. I moved out at 19. I was living on my own at 19. Never at one point had to move back home or anything like that. So I was very much so an adult in terms of having to provide for myself at a very young age. So by 25, I was very seasoned, but still, like, no. But I do feel like throughout their pod dates, they want a lot of the same things. So maybe it'll work out, because you can't always just judge somebody based on their age. Like, get to know them and And I feel like also too that would have to take place in the real world. Like you would have to really get to know this person in real life to see how they are, to see if they will really fit into your world and you into theirs, and so on and so forth. So in this episode too, we get Nancy and Andrew having their pod date, and it was really all about sexual pleasure. He talked mostly about just sexual pleasure and in detail, but I couldn't have been more bored. I was just like, they talking about sex right now and I'm bored and distracted. I was not interested at all in what he was saying. And I find with Andrew, like, he talks a lot and he says a lot, and I'm not really interested in anything that he has to say. And I find that he likes to talk about him traveling and doing this and doing that. Like, he likes to talk about what he has done a lot, and it was slightly annoying to watch. And again, like I said, it just was no pull for me. Like it was nothing interesting about the conversation that they was having. Like I say, even though they were talking about sexual pleasures, it was not interesting to me at all. It did not grab my attention. I was not interested. I actually was bored. So then we get Alexa and Brennan having a pod game night type situation, and I thought that was really cute. I love that. I feel like they did this in all of the seasons of Love is Blind, but I feel like in these episodes we got to see them really be creative in the pods, and I thought that was really cute. But while watching initially while watching Alexa and Brennan connect, I was like, are they giving Lauren and Cameron vibes? Nobody could ever be Lauren and Cameron, right? Obviously, we love the Speeds and the Hamiltons, Speed Hamilton, but I was like, I was feeling like they were really genuinely connecting in the pods. And then we got to see them tell each other they love each other, which reminded me of Lauren and Cameron when they first told each other they loved each other, season 1. And I was like, okay. But for me, it's always awkward to watch and witness people who don't really know each other for real tell each other they love each other, because that's something so serious and meaningful. And so to see people who don't really know each other tell each other they love each other and say it repeatedly, it was kind of making me cringe just a little bit. But it's I don't feel what these people feel. Maybe they do feel like they love each other. Who am I to say? They love each other and they gonna keep saying it. They love each other. They love each other. And I imagine that they have probably dated in the pods a lot, and talked a lot. So in my notes, I had written down that Cole was shallow and Colleen was shallow and superficial, and that's why they connect, right? Because this was before I got to see Cole and Zaynab's date, and him open up and just go a little bit deeper. And I was like, okay, so she's the more shallow one, because he seems to have facets. But Cole and Zaynab have their date and they click and everything, and that's good. And then we move on to Brennan and Alexa having their pod date, and Brennan proposes. And I just felt like, is this a little too soon? I don't know what the rush would be. I mean, I guess they wanted to see each other, but I feel like they could have waited it out a little bit longer. It seemed a little bit soon, and maybe it's because it's the first episode. But I felt like they could have waited it out a little bit. I don't know. Because I feel like, didn't Lauren and Cameron get engaged the first episode? I think they did. I don't remember. But for whatever reason with them, it just seemed like this feels a little rushed. I don't know. But, he proposed. She said yes. So then we cut to Cole and Colleen's pod date. And like I said, he was saying to her he wanted to go deeper. And she was just basically saying I can't do that. You want me to go? I can't. You want me to go deeper? I can't, because there is no depth. That's what it was given. And I just was that's when I was oh, okay. So he can, like, you know, again, like I said, with his date with Zaynab, he did, like, you know, go deeper. But I was like, okay, because I was saying with them two specifically, like, it's just they connect because they are both shallow. But in that pod date, he was wanting to go deeper, and she was like, this is as deep as it gets, baby. Like, what do you want from me? And it just was like, oh, it's you. So then it cuts to Brennan and Alexa being able to meet, and then the episode goes off. So I want to know what you think about this episode of Love is Blind season 3 episode 1. Let me know down in the comments what you think. What vibes are you picking up? Like, let me know. I want to know. I'm very interested to know your thoughts and how you feel about this episode, so let me know down in the comments. I am gonna go give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are not subscribed, and I will catch you in the next one, which is for episode 2 right after this. Let's go.